Hello! This is my second week to do a IT management article, and this week I chose to focus on the topic of IT budgeting, which is part of Chapter 9 in our IT Strategies book. There are a couple of reasons why I was interested in budgeting for IT in particular. One is that it seems to be a main contributor to the ways that IT continues to have a silo and work in isolation from the rest of the organization. From everything I've been reading over the course of the class, it seems like budgeting for IT is either secondary or is incorporated into other parts of departments. It doesn't have its own strategic vision that is part of creating a mission and purpose for the overall goals of the organization. So when I looked for an article, I was looking for something that would really help kind of combine that importance of making a strategic budgeting process with some actual practical tips on how to do so. It's one thing to talk in theory about the fact that a IT budget should create an integrated solution, but from what I've seen, there's nothing that really does that in a practical way. I was very pleased to find an article by Donnie Shimoda, which was called A Strategic Approach to IT Budgeting. Mr. Shimoda talks about the fact that IT budgeting is a human element. There's a human component that can't be negated. It has to be included throughout the process. He also talks about the fact, and I thought this was really key, that just like good personal financial planning would include long and short-term goals, a critical component of IT budgeting has to have good long and short-term goals. He says that often when we talk about IT, we don't really address the issue of long-term goal setting. We think about it as being an infrastructural issue. We need to address the immediate needs of what's going on in the IT department. And that continues to happen every single year, even though we know that it's not something that's really a practical way to address actual IT needs. So he said we really need to treat our IT budgeting like an actual financial plan. And once you shift that thinking, then it helps to validate IT's role in the organization. So right now he's saying that IT is treated like one big mess, right? No one can really figure out what end they should address IT's budget. Should it be from a financial point, from a departmental part? Should it have its own budget? It's all very convoluted. I like that Shimoda actually comes up with a very clean way of explaining how budgets should be developed for IT. He calls this run, grow, transform. And he actually has people to budget in those three categories, starting with run, moving to grow, and then moving on to transform. So run is, what are the budget items that keep the organization operating? What are the day-to-days? What's the infrastructure? What needs to be used to keep the lights running? And then grow is the budget that will help improve new capabilities. The important component of grow is that organizations will grow. And so many times IT budgets do not build themselves on the premise that there will be growth. They really get stuck at run and don't move any further. So the next step has to be grow. The third step is transform. So these are the RD type of activities. The reason why this is so important is that the transform goals will move into being grow goals as time wears on. And the organization has to constantly be looking at ways that IT's budget is impacting the long-term health of the organization. If you don't have a balanced budget that looks at both the current operations, the ways to grow the IT budget, and ways to transform and change the organization, then you'll be stuck in the same place 5-10 years down the road. Or even worse, your organization won't exist because it won't have the infrastructure in place to support your company needs. Really, he talks about IT's budget should be a balanced investment in the overall health of the organization. So if you are using it correctly, you're making sure that IT is integrated, not siloed into everything that's going on. He also does a great job of providing some different examples of companies that were adapters and what that looked like, and recommends that everyone should attempt to be a mainstream or early adapter. That's it for me. Thank you for your time. I hope you have a wonderful day.